Hi, third, fourth, or 3 and 4 year old leaders. So sorry, I read that wrong. 3 and 4 year old leaders, we are preparing for June 16th, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, dads. Thank you for your influence in so many kids' lives, not only your own, but if you help serve with us or allow a family member to serve, thank you for that influence. Today we are continuing through the book of 1 Samuel in chapters 4 through 6, and we're looking at the story of the ark being captured. If you'll remember, back in Exodus, God had given Moses rules on building an ark, also called the Ark of the Covenant. And he asked Moses to build this so that it could hold the temple elements, but also the 10 Commandments are carried in the Ark of the Covenant. And then wherever the Ark is, it's supposed to symbolize to the Jewish people that God was right there with them. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how God led the priests to take the ark into the Jordan River first, and as the ark as the priests were walking into the river, the ark and God's symbol of being with his people helped dam up the waters so that the Israelites could walk across on dry land. So God has lots of significance in this ark. As the Israelites have moved into the promised land, there's a group of people called the Philistines that they continue to battle with. They have big people. Remember, Goliath comes from this group of people. They have big people. Apparently, they don't get along real well with the Israelites for many reasons. And so the Israelites continued to battle with them. And every time they go into battle with the Philistines, they keep losing. So they decided, well, the ark worked in the river. Let's take the ark out into the battlefield and see if God will be with us then and we can win. Of course, that had nothing to do with why they weren't winning. God didn't desire for that to be, that was not his master plan at that time. But the Israelites took it into their own hands and took the ark out there. And the Philistines won the battle and took the ark. But God knew that the Philistines had the ark, and so he punished the Philistines by wherever the ark was, all of the people in that village got very sick. And so the first village got very sick, so they moved the ark. They were like, well, maybe we just need to move it and everybody will get better. And they moved the ark to a different village, and those people got sick. And so they moved it to a third village, and those people got sick. And so they finally decided that their God was stronger than the Israelites' God, and that they didn't need this because it made them sick all of the time. So they decided to return the ark to the Israelites. So they hitched it up to some cows and drove the carriage into the Israelites' promised land so they could have their ark back and they could be rid of all of this illness and all that came with the ark. And so God obviously was providing for the Israelites, even in the middle of them choosing to not follow him in these battles. And so there's two things to remember from this: that we can trust God to use his power to do what is best. God will act on our behalf, but sometimes we need to wait, and sometimes we don't need to have it right now. So you could talk about that with your little ones for sure. And then the other thing to realize is that what God was helping the Israelites do was prepare for Jesus to come. And when Jesus came, there was not going to be the need for an ark. There was not going to be a need for all of the rules and all of the everything that helped the Israelites remember that God was their number one. Jesus was going to take that away because Jesus was the way to make relationship with God again. And so we can thank Jesus that we have the opportunity to have that relationship with God and not have to worry about keeping an ark in a safe place, or to have the ark there so that God would be with us. God is with us no matter what. All right, So your social activity for the next couple weeks, you're going to be playing a game called Find Your Match. And it's like a categories game. I don't know if you've played something like this with your kids. My kids used to love it, playing it in the pool. You would shout out a category, and then if they were thinking of something in the same category, then they would jump into the pool. And so you get to choose the category as a small group leader. Like, you ask everybody who has brown hair to stand over here, and everybody who has red hair to stand over here, and everybody who has black hair to stand over here. And if you have some blondies, have your blonde kids over here. And you can choose the category. This is just to help them see who they are and to notice differences, and also to learn to listen and pay attention to instructions so they can be a part of the game. All right, then your small group time, you're going to have some blocks, and the blocks I have here for the video are kind of small because these are the ones I had at home. But what you're going to do is take 4 blocks and take your tape that you have. I'm trying to find my cards. Over there. So you're going to take the tape that you have, and you're going to put one of each match of card on a block. That's why my blocks are kind of small, because the cards are way bigger than my blocks. And then once you have taped it to it, you can set the block up on the floor, kind of like the kids are going to go bowling. And what you're going to do is, so you'll have 4 different cards. Let me show you the different cards. You'll have one that looks like this. You'll have one that looks like this. You'll have one that looks like this. There's the cows pulling the ark. And one like this. That's the ark. And so that's the ark that the Philistines captured, remember? And so what you're going to do is lay those out, and as you hold up a card, the kids are going to take one of the tennis balls, and you can help designate who's going to do this. They're going to take a tennis ball and try to hit the block that has the exact same picture on it. So I'm going to hold up the picture of the guy, and what they're going to try to do is roll the tennis ball on the floor to hit this picture and knock it down. Kind of like a fun matching game. And as you do that, you can use these pictures to retell the story of the ark being captured and what we learn from that story. And so since this is a fun activity to play together and doesn't have a take-home paper necessarily, you'll have a coloring page that looks like this. And I realize that the coloring pages are a little challenging for this age, but the reason we're sending these home is because they have instructions on the back to help families know what we're teaching kids, especially since we're working through a part of the Bible that everybody is not necessarily familiar with. It'll help families know what we're teaching them, and it also gives them some activities that they can do at home together. So even if the kids don't do a fabulous job coloring that paper, it's really okay. It's more for them to be able to take it home to share with their family. And then your memory verse is, "No one is like you, Lord. You are great, and your name is mighty in power." So you're going to say, "No one is like you, Lord. Your name is great and mighty in power." Jeremiah 10:6. And then you can pray and share your coloring pages with your kiddos so that they can take those home to share with their family. Thank you so much for leading. Thank you for building relationships that build disciples. I'll see you guys soon.